I suppose for me, I didn't really start drinking like most people do as teenagers.
It started really from the age of like 11, 12. I've suffered abuse in my childhood, which left me with a lot of anger and resentment. So I started using alcohol and substances from the age of 15, and then I started using heroin at the age of 21, 22.
I started to drink really around the age of 21 in my final year at university.
And I kind of escaped through the alcohol and substances.
I was brought up in an alcoholic family and spent a lot of my teenage years bringing up my brother and sister.
My mum and dad had separated, and then very shortly afterwards, my granddad died.
When I started drinking, I did drink to forget everything.
So I was struggling with life in general. I suffer with bipolar disorder.
When I first picked up a drink, I liked the feeling it gave me. It was the confidence, really, because I'm quite a shy person.
You know, I knew that I had a problem, but I didn't want to admit it to myself, and the main reason being is I knew that I didn't want to be like my mum.
And the drinking gave me that confidence to go out and socialise.
It was Christmas Day. I remember Christmas Eve, we hadn't spent the night at home, we'd spent it in my dad's pub, and didn't go home for any of the Christmas presents or Christmas dinner or anything like that.
I went to prison, I came out of prison, and I disappeared out of my mum's and my daughter's life for 9 months.
I was desperate for a normal life, but at that age, you know, I couldn't cope with things. You know, I had a lot of pressure put on me that a kid really can't handle. You know, so I started drinking to forget everything that was going on in my life. Never really knew how to deal with emotions growing up, and I think that's what took me into addiction. And the last thing I wanted to be was an alcoholic, because I hated my mum for it.
I was always the one that, you know, would push things too far. You know, I'd be the one carried home at the end of the evening.
Obviously, I was looking after my mum as well. My mum spent most of her time in the bedroom. I had to cook for her, clean her clothes, prepare my brother and sister for school, take them to school.
And then I got pregnant with my 6-year-old boy, and I ended up using every day through that pregnancy. And
people were getting concerned about me. My mum and dad were, and my partner at the time was also getting quite concerned. So I went to alcohol services, and they suggested doing a home detox. So I went to my mum's for a week and did that. And at the time when I went and did that, I thought, that's me, you know, I'll never drink again. Within 3 days after doing that, I was drinking again.
I wasn't willing to accept that I needed help off anybody. My teenage years were very difficult for me. My mum went into rehab a few times, you know, which initially at the time was great, but 3 months down the line when she let us down, she couldn't do it. You know, it was crippling.
social services got involved, and I thought I would sort myself out for the kids. And I tried at first, and then I was being dishonest, so obviously they took the kids last January, and then I got sent down, which I was quite relieved, because I was with my children's dad, and once the kids had gone, I didn't want to be with him anymore.
To be honest, it hurts knowing that you can't control what you're doing, and you know you're desperately trying to grab onto that normal life, but no matter what you try, it just doesn't seem to work for you.
I slowly relapsed into heroin again and crack cocaine. My parents found out, just couldn't carry on, and I think the shock and the shame and the guilt of relapsing, it just took over. So
Through my circumstances, I ended up in a women's refuge. Obviously, you weren't allowed men in a women's refuge, but I went out one night drinking and brought a man back there, and of course lost my place there. And I phoned my mum that morning and I said, can I come and live with you again? And I could hear all the hurt in her voice, and you know, I'd done it again. She said, Julie, you know, I just can't have you back here. And you know, it must have been heartbreaking for her. Absolutely heartbreaking to have to say that to me.
Once the kids had gone, I'd had enough. I was sick of it. I was tired of it. I didn't want to live in that pain anymore. And I knew if I didn't do this, at least if I didn't get my boys back, I could still be there for them. when they're old, and that's all I want, that's all I want. I just want to be there for them. I was involved with the Drug and Alcohol Services in Macclesfield and Crewe, and I came off my methadone 4 years ago yesterday. Started going to meetings, but I just wasn't ready to surrender, and relapsed again 8 weeks later, and just life started getting really bad again. Although the substances weren't there, my mental state and my life was just still chaotic. Negative thoughts, no self-worth. The pressure of being a mother was immense. I was overdosing. I was at the point of suicide. Everything around me was dark. I was just in despair. I was scared to get help because of my daughter, in case she was taken away. I tried to kill myself. I told my baby's father to take her, and I couldn't live anymore. I couldn't see any way out.
I didn't want to wake up. Every morning I just woke up thinking, gosh, have I woken up again? I just couldn't see any purpose to my life, any point to my life, any way of getting out of it.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to live. I was going to bed at night wishing I wasn't going to wake up. So I was scared. I was scared of going outside. I was practically living in my bedroom.
I used to stay in bed for as long as I could, right into the afternoon, because I knew as soon as I got up that I'd have to find the money to go and get a drink, to then sit and drink it. It was just no life.
I felt trapped in addiction. That's the only way I can explain it. I felt like I was destined to live this shit life and there was no way out of it. It was a hard decision to make, essentially because I was scared of giving up the drugs. But at the same time, I didn't want to carry on living. I didn't want to carry on feeling the way I did.
I was out in town in Macclesfield and walked past this door, didn't know what it was, and someone that I knew from Acorn Treatment in Stockport was there, and it was actually Raw that I'd stumbled across, and I went in and saw Vicky, and she said, well, would you consider coming in here?
And I'll be honest, the turning point for me was I'd lost 0.5 gram of coke on the bus and I broke into tears, and that really scared me, to be honest, because I didn't like to believe that I was that dependent. I knew that there was problems in my life, but I didn't want to believe that I was dependent on drugs.
I heard about Raw, so while I was in prison, I kept asking them to find the number. The day before Christmas Eve, I thought I was coming out as being homeless, but then Vicky rang me up from Raw and said I could go in. I knew I was at risk if I didn't sort myself out, because I was going to be on my own out there. And there was times when I burst in there that I didn't think I was going to do it, but I fought through it. I did my detox in there, and ramp as well with Lizzie and Ryan, which was really good. I used to make us laugh, and just to learn the cycle of your addiction and that you can break it. And that got me prepared for deep. And when I first did deep, I didn't think I was going to be able to do that.
It's given me structure in my life, and it's the first time I've ever felt safe. First time I've ever felt looked after, which it means a lot to me, that does. The staff at Raw are amazing. They give so much support to anybody that needs it.
I'm so grateful for the police to have come to my house that day, because I would have killed myself. I couldn't see a way out. I was just about to kill myself when I heard the police coming up the stairs. And I just said, please take me, because I don't know what to do with myself. And they were so kind and caring. There was no judgment. I felt so safe in their care. And they escorted me to the hospital. And they said to me, you're 90% there and you're here and you can do this. And I believed the police guy, the policeman. I had so much trust and faith in him, and I'm so grateful that he came to my house that day. Because if he hadn't, my life I wouldn't be where I am now. I can see his face like it was yesterday.
Ramp gave me a huge awareness around my addiction. Not just how my addiction's affecting me, because that's what I thought, I'm only doing me harm. And I've looked at, the ripple effect and what impact it's having on the people in my life, my family.
I started on the deep course, and I'm doing deep from being in community, and it's just helped me just so much. I feel a completely different person.
What recovery's given me is the possibility of a future. I can look at my future now and think I can make something of it.
It's given me my self-worth back. I feel like I've found my voice in society. I feel unequal in society.
No, I've got to say the biggest thing Deep's given for me is being able to connect with my emotions. The one thing I didn't want to do in addiction was to feel them emotions, because they made me feel weak and I couldn't cope with my emotions. They made me feel like I was going crazy. They helped me feel comfortable with who I am.
Well, just to get my independence back and be able to manage my life on my own, and then once I can do that, I'll work towards getting my 2 boys back. And my daughter, my 23-year-old daughter, she's got my 12-year-old daughter, she's got guardianship of her. Well, the 3 went, Emily, Sam and Alex, they went in care, and Kelly got Emily. You know, she's amazing, and Sam, my partner as well. But I know now, if I carry on doing what I'm doing, I can work towards getting them back, and that's, you know, I'm determined to do that.
Well, firstly, I want to thank my Uncle Nick. You know, because without him, I wouldn't have known what steps to take, I wouldn't have known what direction to go. And the staff at Raw have been such a huge support for me.
My family have played an amazing part in getting me to where I am now. You know, they've always been there for me through thick and thin, regardless of the way I behaved or acted. You know, they're absolutely brilliant. My mum, my dad, my sister, her husband.
Lizzie Ward and Ryan, they made ramp really enjoyable. I always come back from ramp with a smile on my face.
I wouldn't have been able to get through this without him, and knowing my daughter was safe.
What's his name?
Paul.
And my family, putting up with the pain that I've put them through and, you know, still been there for me on the other side.
I've had my ups and downs at Deep, you know, it's been hard work, but I feel a lot different this time.
I've got a different respect for life, because today I feel like I can be happy. I feel like, you know, there are possibilities, and I feel like I've got people around me.
My little 2-year-old nephew, he's helped because he brightens up my life no end.
You know, what I want to do is hopefully give other people that same message, you know, that there is hope.
I'd love to do voluntary work through alcohol services at the hospital as a way of giving back to all the times that they've been to see me and supported me when I've been in hospital.
I'd like to thank the social services for making, you know, looking after my children and making sure that they're safe.
Julie Cotton, that got involved with me the first time I went into treatment, and supported me for years.
Raw, all the staff at Raw, especially Vicky and Jill.
Vicky, especially, and Jill.
My daughter Kelly and Sam, a partner, for having Emily and being there for my 2 boys.
Everything has played a part. Every little bit of knowledge I picked up from all the different agencies has played a massive part in getting me to where I am now, with a future.
Amy and Unran at Deep, because, you know, I trusted them and they challenged me and I needed it.
All of my peers there.
And all my peers.
It's my confidence, really. And I am I'm starting to like myself. For years and years and years, I haven't liked myself.
I'm at the beginning of a wonderful life. I feel spiritually and emotionally, I just feel like I've had an awakening that I've wanted for a very long time. And I won't give up on my kids. So they haven't given up on me, so and I definitely won't give up on them.
But that's the whole tragic point, my friends. What would I do if I could suddenly feel and to know once again that what I feel is real? I could cry, I could smile, I might lay back for a while. Tell me what would I do if I could feel? What would I do